So yesterday I had so much fun with the Coliro colors. I thought that I would do some of the 17th century English roundhand letters with the color. Now I'm only going to show you this very briefly. Let's get let's get a nice beautiful letter. Here we go. So we have this beautiful Y, and of course, the problem is it looks amazing, but I don't think you can see it that well. So I'm going to swap this out, and I've even ruled up some 55 lines on my black pad. I'm going to swap this out for the white pad that I've been working on, and let's change the color to see if it'll work here. That's great. So let's stick with this color here. So I'm going to start with a new page. So this is now page A5. So this is from a book that I have in the studio. And one of the things I had to sort of figure out was the letters are a lot more florid here. So I'm going to have to work a little bit smaller and plot the letter. I'm really taking my time here because there's so much to consider. Now, technically, this should cross in the middle there. So I would want to plot this a little bit better. So you can see that that's starting to sort of pull together much more beautifully. Now, this letter can also be done with the tool on its side. So that's really delicate. Of course, the only problem with this is it's very reminiscent of the letter S. I'm not sure if you can see this. It's so fine, but this copper is just beautiful. Right, let's move on. Otherwise, I'm just going to spend the time marveling over the beauty of the ink. Up, little over, back down to point. Up, little over, back down, over and out. Now, notice what's happening here. What you want to get is you want to get this hairline, press, hairline. So when you come back over, you've not gone over where there's too much ink. So you're really concentrating the deposition in the middle. I've just used up so much space doing that, that Y. I think I might want to zoom in just a little bit more and get some more light. See if more light will help. That's a lot better. So I'm using a Coliro pearlescent color, and I'm just brushing it onto the underside of the nib. So where are we at? I'm really pushing myself here because these letters are so much more florid. And lift up, and turn and go back through and pick up there, and so that's a T. I, J, and it's little things like this that I find really fascinating. So we have, notice I'm not on the 55. And I'm starting here, but I'm going up and over and down and up, and I'm staying at the top because it's very easy to want to do that. So there's a lot more sort of finesse and fineness of control and sort of sharpness. There's so much more going on here. So the next thing to consider is where is this connecting to? So I've come back in here on myself. Quite a lot of the 17th century English roundhand letters connected to the majuscule. And I really love this E because this. So the hairline is crossing the shade on the E. So be careful not to drop it too much. I know a lot of people struggle with the E because I'm feeling myself getting quite tense and tight as well. And this tends to interact quite a lot. I tend to keep it higher and smaller at the top and larger at the bottom. So that's my E. So of course it stands to reason that I'm crossing. Oh, sorry. I'm crossing myself in the shade. Loving this color. This is just wonderful. I mean, it does slow me down quite a lot, but you know, I don't mind, and I don't really think you mind either. And so look at this connection, right? E and W. Really, really beautiful, really sort of elegant and delicate and really thought out, really well put together. Now there's also this. So you have a real ball serif. Actually, I've done that incorrectly. Let me get that right. So something that I tend not to do, a little too much drawing and fiddling, as I call it. This is an uppercase R. Now my minuscule R is this and that. So all of this is a hairline. So this is another trick that you might want to employ when you're working with metallic colors. You just want to touch the tip of the nib. Can you see that? Let me hold it up. You just want to touch the tip of the nib to the surface, like so. And that gets a little bit of water on the front and it helps it to flow a little bit better. Now there's this R, 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so I need to think about that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. So it's like a wiggle, and of course you can put a wiggle in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But look at how dramatically different these are. I'm really loving this color. Wow. Where are we at? These Y's are going to be the bane of my writing on this paper because they use so much ink, so I have to come all the way across here. 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've gone up, 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 over, down, 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 aim and hit on the line, up, up, up and down, square off and up and around and out. So quite a lot of rhythmic movement, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 and 13, 14, 15 and 16 and 17. So, you know, I'm not making a distinction between the mark on the page and a trace in the air. I think this is where a lot of people struggle with that N, because notice my second stroke, so we have the hairline. The second stroke is I'm going to exaggerate it, a hairline into weight into hairline. So that's a sixth, and that's a sixth, and the middle 2/3 is where the weight is, where that sort of shade or swelled stroke is supposed to be. That's just an exaggeration. Sort of waffling on so much that the ink is starting to stick on the page. And let's move up a little bit more. Where are we at? I love this sort of, these pen turns. Now, this is a reversed A. So let's try that again. So what I would do is I would actually do the letter, ghost the whole letter. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I would go, let's get some ink. I would go 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Really, really quite tricky. So you can do this as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Wow, so much that's possible once you start sort of altering the way in which the letters, you approach the letters. All right, so I think I'm going to stop there. I mean, the ink is looking really beautiful. So let me give you a little taste of that. There you go. Absolutely wonderful. So thank you very much. I hope this encourages you to do some practice with colors other than black ink or maybe walnut ink, which is what I was using. I have been using for quite some time, or the Monteverdi inks, which I have been using as well. So it's the only thing about using a metal like the Coliro colors or other metallic paints is that it takes a little bit longer to mix it up, to keep the consistency at the right flow, and to make sure that the nib doesn't get gunked up once it starts to dry in there. So I look forward to seeing some of your practices.